Hey everybody, welcome back to this Extreme Warfare Revenge series. My name is Andy, the Uncommentator, for episode, I think we're number 16, are we? I don't know. Anyway, that doesn't matter. What does matter is what's going to be taking place in this episode, be it episode 16 or not, of this series, where I'm going to be booking Control Your Narrative. Well, that's what I'm be doing during the series anyway. This introduction's going well. Anyway, let's quickly move on and talk about, as I said, what we are going to be doing in this video. So we're going to be continuing, or finalising, I should say, the build for our next big event. So you can see there, we're on Thursday the 15th of May 2025, and our next big PLE that's not a PLE is on the 23rd of May. So we've got two shows prior to that date, and we're going to be doing that in this video. Just for real life context, I'm recording this on the 4th of July 2025, so happy Independence Day to all my American cousins out there, and anyone who likes Independence Day, even if you're not American. Anyway, let's get on with it. So yeah, as I said, we're going to be finalising the build to War Without Peace, so we've got two more shows to book, the next episode of Disruption, and then the next episode of Liberty. Now, I've just realised something actually. I need to extend this Disruption contract. I meant to do that before starting recording, but it's live, pal, so we'll get on with it. Because I think if I get to Sunday, Disruption's going to end. So we'll extend the contract. Providing they want to, of course. 9 months, brilliant. I'm sure I checked this on previous videos, but yeah, there we go. So we're all good now. Event is superb. So yeah, so we're going to have a show. So otherwise we would have had one show in this video. But yeah, we're going to have two now. So let's crack on with it. We know Ethan. Stop asking me that. So of course Monday, we need to get to Monday, and then we can book the last episode of Disruption prior to the event. Haven't been fired yet either, which is a miracle. But I'm sure that's coming, but hopefully not. Let's keep this series ticking along. Got the Wednesday Night War with OVW that we need to win. So it's important that 57% public image. Let's just have a quick look. I just want to check something. So the crash. So the crash of the next network we need to try, the next promotion, sorry, that we need to try and become bigger than. Where 57%? What are the crash? If I clicked on the right button, it would help. Crash at 58%, so hopefully we'll leapfrog them in this video. Produce two quality shows. And we've got an incident, which isn't good. Okay. Well, unfortunately, I'm going to have to ignore that. As much as I don't want to. I do kind of like to punish people when they do incidents, but given he's in the middle of a major storyline, I need to ignore that, but it doesn't matter. Hope the phone-in was in Spanish, because otherwise, I don't know to really... It might have speak English, I don't know. Anyway, move on. So yeah, we're here now on the 19th of May, so don't tell Kane. Because... Well, yeah, we're on the 19th of May, so it's going to be the... I don't know why I said because then. It's going to be the final... I'm absolutely exhausted, for those who care. Yeah, I did 80 hours overtime last month, so yeah, works tricky at the minute. But I'm still finding time to book Control Your Narrative on the side. I mean, that should be my main project, of course, because that's far more important than, you know, earning a living. But hey, let's not worry about that. Let's instead get on with booking the Go Home episode of Disruption. And we're going to kick things off with a promo-type segment. I'm going to try and do a turn segment here, but I don't know if it's going to work or not. Let's have a quick look. I don't think it's quite going to work. No, I'm going to have to... Let's try that one, but I don't think it's going to wash. Oh, no, it is going to wash. Shirakawa, yeah. So... Yeah, okay, so essentially... I mean, I've not done a quick booking recap, but of course you've all been watching the series all the way through, so you know exactly where the storylines are all at. But basically, in this segment, so if you remember, we had a few shows ago, we've had a few... Yuki was attacked by Mandy Rose. So well, let's start from the beginning. Mina Shirakawa got injured. She missed a few weeks. Yuki came in because she's an ex-tag team partner. and friend, trying to help her out. Yuki was then attacked by Mandy Rose, who's part of the Blacklist, which is obviously Mina Shirakawa is part of. And then later in that episode, where Yuki was attacked, Mina Shirakawa returned from her injury. So in this segment, Yuki's basically going to call Mina out and say, you know, well, if you were here, why didn't you come out and help me when Mandy was attacking me? And they basically get into a bit of a back and forth. Mina clearly doesn't want to hurt her, but she ends up pushing her over basically and saying like she doesn't need her to fight her battles for her. You know, like she's happy in the Blacklist, and you know, don't fight my battles for me basically. So she ends up shoving her down and then sort of storming off. So that's what would happen there. I didn't describe that very well, but I think you get the idea. And then moving on into our opening contest for the evening. And I don't know why I booked this, but I have now, so we're going to go with it. Because it's going to be the in-ring debut of Sunny Kiss. And they're going to be taking on Brian Johnson. So no prizes for guessing who's going to win this match, if you've been following the series. So of course, Sunny Kiss wins. And then after the match, Mr. Equality, Jake Atlas, runs in and attacks Sunny Kiss. And that is to hype up a match that's not been booked yet. Following on from that, we're just going to have a little video package. I've signed this guy, and I'm not really quite sure what I'm going to do with him yet. But his stats are alright. I think he's got quite a cool name, so I'm sure we can find something for him to do. But it's the Whisper. I did have some kind of ideas. I was going to do like a bit of a Just Joe type angle, but obviously that Just Joe was a heel, and I'm not quite sure how that works. But yeah, I'm sure I'll find something for him to do. And then this next segment is going to be a little bit of a short-term, potentially long-term storyline beginner, because it's going to be Worker proposes team, and it is accepted. So it's going to be Grizzly Redwood asking Adam Scherr. So Grizzly Redwood and Adam Scherr teamed up recently, and I tried to play it off as though they had a good time, they had a fun time teaming up. So Grizzly Redwood, in reality, is a really short person. Well, in wrestling terms anyway. Well, I think he's just short generally. But yeah, in wrestling, below average height for a male, let's just put it that way. Whereas obviously Adam Scherr is quite a lot above average height for a male. So I think the sort of little and large dynamic, kind of fun. So yeah, Grizzly Redwood basically says to Adam Scherr, like, oh, you know, should we do this? Should we make this a regular thing? We can come up with a great team name. How about something like, I don't know, something funny. I don't know. You get the idea. Little and large. Obviously, something a lot better than that. But yeah. So Grizzly Redwood proposed a team, and Adam Scherr. It's, well, you know, yeah. After the feud with Omos, it'd be nice to have a bit of fun. So yeah, you know, why not? Let's team together. And then they say, yeah, the next episode of Liberty, let's have our first match as an official tag team. You know, we'll call out. You know, we'll just call two people out, and whoever answers, we'll face them in a match, because that's the kind of team we're going to be. So it's kind of the start of maybe a storyline where they just basically do an open challenge. I mean, it's a bit like, I suppose, John Cena's open challenge. I mean, obviously, it's far better than that, but you get the idea. So there'll be like a tag open challenge on a regular basis, and then it's kind of it's the typical odd couple, which always seems to work. You know, when you get the dynamics right with an odd couple, it generally gets the right response. So that's essentially what I'm going for here. So my version of Better Than You, Baby, I suppose. Only obviously that was more personality opposite rather than one of them's really tall and one of them's really short. But you get the idea. And then another random match, which I'm not quite sure why I've booked, because I think again it's spoiling an in-ring single debut, but we'll go with it. Because it's going to be David Finlay taking on Sir Jervis of the Cotton Belly. And no prizes for guessing who wins this match. So sorry, you said Jervis Cotton Belly, so you don't get a prize, even if there was one available. And David Finlay just beats him cleanly. And then he stays in the ring for the next segment. So we're merging segments here, 2 segments in one. So he beats Jervis Cottonbelly, and then he stays in the ring for this video. So I don't know whether to do this as a match or as a... We'll do it as a match, which might be not the best idea I've ever had. So essentially what would happen here, as I said, David Finlay wins his match, something starts playing on the video screen, the real expensive Titantron that we've got here at Control Your Narrative, because we've just got a bottomless pit of money. And it is a music video. So it's Joe Hendry taking the you-know-what out of David Finlay a little bit, and he's done a music video, and it's to the tune of My Sharona, the song by the Knack. You know, My Sharona, that song. But instead of calling it My Sharona, he's calling it My Shillelagh. So he just kind of takes the mick out of David Finlay and his Irish heritage by mocking the fact, you know, My Shillelagh, essentially. So that's what would happen there, and that then helps to build towards their match, which I don't actually think I've booked. That kind of makes it official if I've not already done that. I think I have. But yeah, so a music video there for Joe Hendry. And then for the second time tonight, I'm treating all the lucky viewers to more Mina. We want Mina is the hashtag, isn't it? So we're going to get more of her, because she is going to be wrestling at War Without Peace. Is that what I call it? I can't remember now. Yeah, War Without Peace, that was it. So it's going to be a challenge for the next big event. So Mina Shirakawa is going to challenge Maki Ito, and she's going to say that she's doing it. Obviously, Maki Ito's been sniffing around Chris Dickinson. That's who Mina Shirakawa has a bit of an interest in, and so she's going to do it. She's going to basically beat her up to try and impress Chris Dickinson. That's she's quite explicit about that, and specifically mentions that's why she wants this match. And of course, Maki Ito accepts. And then in the main event, speaking of Chris Dickinson, he's going to be teaming up. So you could maybe do a little thing there where Mina Shirakawa, she's walking backstage, Dickinson's music hits, he comes out, she kind of gets a bit excited, and he tells her in a not heelish way, because he's supposed to be a babyface. He tells her to sort of, you know, stay in the back. He's not interested, basically. But he's been saying that for ages, and she keeps ignoring him. So we'll assume that happens again. And yeah, he walks to the ring for his tag team main event. So it's Chris Dickinson and Chuck O'Neill who are teaming up, and they're going to be taking on the team of Bateman and Gable Steveson. And we'll give Dickinson the win over Bateman. So we can have that. O'Neill and Steveson are obviously the big rivals, so they can sort of fight backstage, and it just then turns into a one-on-one match, which then Dickinson wins. That's essentially how that match would go. And it's to build to a future match, kind of, but not for Chris Dickinson. for the other two that have fought backstage. Right, so that is the go-home disruption. So let's see what we can get. Can we get 60%? It's going to be close, I think, this one, but we shall see. Now, I don't want Shirakawa to turn. That's the problem here. But let's see. There we go. That's what I wanted. Yeah, because those turn angles, some actually turn them and some just tease the turn. And I was thinking that was just tease the turn. But yeah, that's that one. So ignore that description. They're not walking backstage. They're in the ring. And she shoves her down and says, you know, don't fight my battles for me. I don't need you to look after me or whatever. Looking out for me, I should say, or whatever she's going to say. Right, we're going to struggle here because the overall rating's not an average of the two, so we're going to get a slightly worse show rating, which could be a problem here because I'm expecting a low rating. So maybe the crash, we're not going to get bigger than the crash, unfortunately, I don't think, after this, but we'll keep going. Yeah, that was always going to be the problem there. That's what I was worried about. But, oh well. Sorry, Adam. Yeah, that was a good match. That was better than I was expecting. That's good. Yeah, that's fine. Good. That was a good segment. They are really charismatic, which is always useful. Yeah, 58%. I think we're just going to be under here, but let's see. Yeah, 57. That wasn't good. It was that one really, wasn't it? That's what. I think with the average. I think if we'd had the proper averages thing, we would have made it, but We didn't. Slightly irritating, that, to be honest with you. Especially the Adam Share thing, that wasn't good. Okay, 72 emails, are you joking? So we've had 68 emails between that show and... Jeez Louise. Well, let's go through them. Get comfortable. So Kent has gone to Ollie, okay. Ayako Amada's gone to Ollie. I think I've got to... My presumption here is Ollie have had a new owner and a lot of people have left and a lot of people have signed. That's going to be my guess. So Ayako Hamada, if I can speak, has gone to Ollie. Matt Briscoe's gone to Ollie. Loki's gone to Ollie. Asuka's gone to Ollie, great. Mascara Dorado has gone to Ollie. Well, these are on his body than GCW, I'm sure. Okay. Mark Haskins has gone to Fights, or LA Fights, what we're going to call them. Kendo Kashin. Johnny Storm's gone to JCW, not the ICP promotion. Mecha Wolf. Zenshi to C4. John Klinger to C4. Lamascara to XPW. Tony Nese to XPW. Virus to XPW. Tony Nese to CZW. So he's gonna have an interesting schedule. XPW and CZW. That's yeah, that'll be easy for him. Trey Miguel's left beyond. Okay, Jun Kasai's gone to CZW. CW Anderson to should be CZW Anderson, shouldn't it, that one? Nick Gage. We see now Crash are worried about me, so that's why they've signed Nick Gage to fight me off. Ethan Page and Nick Gage. Anyone else they're going to sign? Christian Cage, is he the next one? Nope. Emil, yeah, that person's gone to TWR. Tony Deppen to TWR. Kotaro Suzuki. Snoop Strikes. He did it at WrestleMania 39. Josh Alexander has decided to work for PWG, fair enough. Jimmy Jacobs to PWG. Minoru Suzuki to PWG. Katsuyori Shibata to PWG, okay. Grayson Waller to OVW. See, OVW trying to win the Wednesday Night War by signing Grayson Waller. You don't normally get this many signings all in once, I'm amazed. Demonic Flamita to OVW. Ethan Page, there we go. So Ethan Page has signed for 2 promotions now. Both of which, I think, are they both ones that I'm rivaling? I think they are, aren't they? Kushida to NWA. Don't know where that's come from on my keyboard's randomly got something on it. NWA have signed Titan to a written contract. So I wonder if NWA have got bigger. They've signed Marco Stunt. They've signed Escoria. The only thing I'm worried about here is I've got, without wanting to give too many spoilers away, I've got plans to sign a couple of people and I don't want them to get signed here. So far though, we're okay, but there's still quite a few of those to go yet. Snoop Strikes again. That pun wasn't intentional, but we'll take it. Yoshinabu Kanemaru. Here we go. Andrade has gone back to AEW. I presume he was there at the start of the game, but I can't remember. They've re-signed Jungle Boy. Okay, why not? Masato Yoshina to GCW. Io Sky to GCW. Yeah, she'll fit in there. CW Anderson so that should be GCW Anderson, surely. NJPW signed Drago and Aerostar. Sammy Callahan to Major League Wrestling. Well, he's worked there in real life. Doc Gallows to Major League Wrestling. Masato Tanaka to Major League Wrestling. Trey Miguel. Have some of these joined these and then left already? I feel like we've gone around in circles a little bit here. Minoru Suzuki to Beyond. Ras to MCW. Fair enough. Oro Jr. to MCW. Titan to AAW. Aerostar. Yeah, so Aerostar's just signed a written contract with. I think that's why there's so many emails, because a lot of these have signed and then signed for somebody else straight away, which is a little bit bizarre. Bad Buddy to CMLL. Why not? That should be interesting. CMLL signed Alex Shelley. Masato Yoshida. Yeah, I'm sure these names are just going around in circles. Virus. We're having that one again. Cheerleader Melissa's gone to Impact. That's a new one. Impact have signed Seema to a written contract. David Starr to Impact. Triple A have signed Chris Adonis because nothing screams Lucha Libre like Chris Masters. Nothing screams Lucha Libre like Malachi Black. To be fair, he does do a few flipping things. Okay, Mike Quackenbush to WWE. Why not? Chavo Guerrero to WWE. There we go. We got 177 people turned up to watch Disruption. So, we got them in. Oh, yeah, there we go. Cheers, EC3. It's been a while since you asked for that. Hang on, when's the last time you asked me? 12th of the 5th, and then you've asked me again on the 19th of the 5th. So you waited a week, which is nice. And thank you, Jerry. That's why we pay you the big bucks, of course. Right. So we got them in the end. And the ironic thing about that is, I need to sign 2 people, which I'm going to do after when we get to Wednesday, which is the Day of Liberty. Well, that was an unexpected interlude. I was having to... oh my goodness me, more emails. Taya Valkyrie's gone to Ollie. Matt Cardona's gone to Ollie. Fair enough. Awesome Kong's gone to Ollie. We're starting the women's division at least. Dan Maff's gone to the Crash. Texano Jr. to PWG. Tom Latimer to PWG. Nick Gage to PWG, so he's already left Crash. So clearly he didn't like the setup. AR Fox to GCW. Dave Roy Smith Jr. to GCW. Escoria to GCW. Eddie Kingston to Major League Wrestling. Kazushi Sakuraba to Beyond. Bandido to Beyond. Drake Younger to Beyond. Trey Miguel to AAW. Ophidian, is that Ophidian? Apologies if I'm saying that wrong. Ray Horus to AAW. CMLL have signed Wyndham to, of course, Wyndham is Bray Wyatt on here. So yeah, nothing screams Lucha Libre like Bray Wyatt. Impact have signed LA Park. You see, that really should be the other way around. LA Park to CMLL and Wyndham to Impact. Not they ever wrestled for Impact as far as I'm aware, but could be wrong. Nothing screams Lucha Libre like Sabu. So yeah, that makes sense. Bully Ray, again, nothing screams Lucha Libre. And that rhymes as well, doesn't it? King Muertes to AAA, or AAA. If I was going to try and be a little bit more cultured about it. Right, we're at Liberty Day finally. Just taking Liberty at the minute. Here we go, right. So before we get to that, I need to, or until we get to that point, maybe I should say. Before we get to that, I need to sign my 2 people that I'm intending to sign. And it's going to be the reuniting of a legendary tag team. A quite legendary tag team. Because we're going to sign Rob Terry. Yep, you heard it right. Rob Terry. So $20,000 we're going to pay for this. Rob Terry's coming in. Now, normally I do this off camera, but like I said earlier, it's live, pal, so we'll keep going. Rob Terry and his tag, and you all know the tag team partner is going to be, because like I said, it's a legendary tag team. It's Rob Terry, and I can't bother to change the name, and Mr. Stone. So Robbie E and Robbie T reunite for one night only here at Control Your, on a random episode of Liberty at Control Your Narrative. We're not saving it for a PLE that's not a PLE. We're doing it tonight. So Liberty, 6 segments to book. The go-home show for War Without Peace. So we need to sell the show. So let's do it by booking a match that's going to be taking place on the PLE that's not a PLE. There's going to be a one-on-one challenge for the next big event. And it's going to be Sonny Kiss versus Jake Atlas. That's the first segment. And then you don't have to wait till the main event for the reuniting of the legendary tag team. It's going to be the open challenge that I mentioned in the last booking the last show. And I need a team name. Leave a comment. I need a team name for Adam Scher and Grizzly Redwood. So it's going to be Grizzly Redwood and Adam Scher taking on Mr. Stone and Rob Terry. So again, they come to the ring, issue the open challenge, and out come these two. And Adam Scher pins Rob Terry, of course, cleanly. And they can celebrate, why not? And you know what? Let's put in a good match. It'd be a good little fun sort of, not about a comedy match. It'd be nice if it were a comedy match, but you get the idea. Just like a fun little crazy match to kick things off. And then we're going to go straight into another match. And another match where no prize of guessing who's going to win. It's going to be a little follow-up. I mean, I must have booked this match before, but let's assume that we haven't. It's going to be Chris Dickinson, who again should have focused on his wrestling, taking on Bateman. So Chris Dickinson versus Bateman. Of course, he wins. He wins cleanly. Nothing happens. And there is a purpose. I mean, the purpose is to get Chris Dickinson back to wrestling and getting some wins under his belt, because that's what he said he wants to focus on. So that is the purpose of that. Then we're going to go to an interview segment, and it's going to be with our good friend Yuki, who seems to be getting over, which is nice. So Yuki, and she is going to talk about Mandy Rose. And what she's going to say here is... I'll just say verbal attack. So what she's going to say here is... Well, the interview, I think it's Lexi Nair, like I say every time we do interviews. So Lexi Nair will just ask her, oh, well, you know, how did you feel about after what happened with Mina on Monday? And Yuki says, you know, well, I'm sure we can work things out with Mina. She's not herself. I know why, and... You know, Mandy, and then I know why, and you know, I'm determined to get my friend back, the Mina that I know. And then obviously the conversation moves on to the attack by Mandy Rose about when she, you know, stood on her head with a stiletto, and then, you know, Yuki then starts criticizing Mandy Rose and saying, and then she talks about the, you know, for attacking her, I should say, and then she talks about the match that Mina's gonna have with Maki Ito. And Yuki says, well, you know, I'm going to be there because I want, you know, I still, despite what she said to me on Monday, I still support my friend. I'm going to be there for that match. And, you know, if Mandy Rose turns up, I'll deal with her then. So in other words, if you're a wrestling fan, that means that Mandy Rose is going to turn up. So watch our event, because everyone wants to see that. But you get the idea. So it's just kind of planting seeds for what's obviously clearly going to happen without actually outright saying, well, Mandy Rose is going to turn up at the PLE. So it's not PLE, of course, but a bit of a spoiler there. If that's what that has done. And then we're going to have another segment to build up to a match that's taking place. It's going to be a 2-on-1. We'll say it's backstage. Why not? So this can sort of interrupt the Yuki interview. So while the interview's going on, while it's nearly finished, you hear like a clattering. Off camera, then the cameraman runs across and he sees that Chase Owens and David Finlay have attacked Joe Hendry, and they can obviously use a shillelagh to call back to you know, the music video. They can break a shillelagh over his head or something like that. And obviously, you know, you can have Chase Owens holding Joe Hendry's arms behind his back, and then Finlay laying it in with a shillelagh, said, "Oh yeah, you know, you want to laugh at shillelaghs, or you know, whatever. This is my shillelagh," and he can start singing the song while he's whacking him, while he's hitting him, something like that. You get the idea. And then the main event, this would have been booked sort of in a graphic. So when the show started, a graphic, you know, EC3 could have. I should have mentioned this, but it doesn't matter. EC3 could have, on commentaries of introducing the show, put the graphic up and explained that this match was going to be the main event, because it's going to be a handicap match. Just a few days, 2 days, because our PLEs, that aren't PLEs, are on Friday. So 2 days before that, he's putting Shark Boy in a handicap match, and he's going to take on Viano 4 and Gable Steveson. So Viano 4 is going to pin him. We'll see cleanly. Now, okay, I had enough. For some reason, you can't book Aftermath on. Actually, no, we'll change that then. We'll change the finish. I was going to say you can't book Aftermath on handicap matches, because the Aftermath would have been Chuck O'Neill runs in and attacks. Gable Steveson. So we'll book that as the finish. We'll say that Chuck O'Neill tries to interfere and didn't, but in reality he didn't. It would have been after. Because we can say that EC3 banned Chuck O'Neill, thinking, well, he's going to try and interfere, but no, we don't do that. But yeah, we'll say that happened. Okay. So that is, yeah. So that's Liberty. I keep thinking there's more segments. There's only 6 in there, so that's why I got distracted there. Right, let's go. So hopefully we'll get the 60% here. I'm more confident here because this is a much better card than the last show. But yeah, it didn't help with that average rating thing. That kind of did us over a little bit. Cool. That's fine. Yeah, that was always gonna be a problem there. Oh, again, we're getting screwed over in the average rating, but hey ho, in fact that could be a problem actually. Yeah, it's gonna be. Oh well. Good. Yeah. Although to be fair, the other segments haven't really made up for it. So annoying. So 2 bad shows there really in terms of an average rating. I'm worried about the public image now actually because of that. That's not good. It was 50. No, we're up to 60%, so that's not bad. Are we taking over the crash? We have. There we go. So Game Changer Wrestling. That's the next one we've got in our sights. Let's just have a quick look at that. Oh, there we go. We're tied with them. So we should overtake them because we've got our PLE that's not a PLE coming up. Cool, right, so that is nearly the end of the video. It's already gone half an hour, that's because of all the emails. Actually, speaking of emails, let's just quickly check them. I got 99 emails and there's a joke in there somewhere. So, Jinsei Shinsaki, move on, gone to CZW. That person's gone to CZW. Hakushi, there we go, that would be easy to say. Tony Deppen to AIW. David Richards to AAA, or Triple R. We got 0.83, 189 people came to Liberty. That's a big increase from 177. That's 12 more people. Those that can't work that out. There we go. Yeah, the Wednesday Night War. We will win it, Sophie. Don't worry about that. And nothing from Jerry O, so he's not earning his money this week. Right. So that is just about the end of the video. So let's just have a quick, I'm going to do this at the start of the next video, no doubt, but I just want to give a quick recap, because as I said, the next video we're going to be doing, if we're going to be sticking to the 2 shows, which I probably will, it's going to be the PLE that's not PLE, and then the Fallout episode of Disruption. So this is the card in full that we've been building towards. So it's going to be Maki Ito. I'll just quickly run through it. I'll go through the storylines and stuff at the start of the next video. So it's going to be Maki Ito versus Mina Shirakawa. Mandy Rose. Actually, so leave a comment. But give predictions. Who's going to win these matches before the video comes out next week? Hopefully, if I can stick to the recording schedule that I've set for myself, which hopefully I can. Anyway, get on with it. Maki Ito versus Mina Shirakawa. We're going to have Mandy Rose potentially up against Yuki Kami. Yeah, Yuki. Spoiler there. If Mandy Rose turns up, will she or won't she? Let's find out. Joe Hendry versus David Finlay. Jake Atlas taking on Sonny Kiss. We might have an open challenge from Adam and Grizzly. Gable Stevenson taking on Chuck O'Neill in a Texas death match. And then in the main event, Shark Boy puts his mask on the line against Viano 4, who also puts his mask on the line in a no DQ match. So that is the card for War Without Peace. I think it's come together quite well, actually. I think it's quite a nice little card. It's come together really well. Self-praise is no praise. And on that note, I think it's time to end this video. So if you enjoyed this video, then please like and share the video. You can also leave a comment on the video should you choose to do that. Please leave a comment, give me your predictions for the match card I've just run down. If you don't do that though, that's absolutely fine. But while you're here on YouTube, if you don't leave a comment, you could always head on over to the channel where you'll find the rest of the videos in this playlist. If you don't know why I've booked what I've just booked, then please go and check out some of the other videos and it will all become clear. If you like wrestling, there is other wrestling content on the channel. I've played this game, Extreme Warfare Revenge, before, where I booked Pro Wrestling Guerrilla for a year, so go and check that out if you're enjoying this series. Also played WWE Crush Hour. If you don't like wrestling, then I'm not quite sure how you are hearing my voice right now, but if that is the case, then there's plenty of non-wrestling content available for you to enjoy, including the likes of Aladdin, Sonic the Hedgehog, loads of Pokemon videos, South Park Rally, Kirby's Dream Course, and many, many more. But until next time, we're going to be moving on to our big May PLE, War Without Peace, and then dealing with the Fallout. But until we get to that point, for now, from me, it is sayonara.